You are watching Bengals Breakdown by Chat Sports, and I am your host, Stone Shields. Thank you so much for joining us for today's episode. Got some good news. The Bengals finally got some good injury news in today, so that is going to be the focus of today's show. Also, going to spend some time talking about some issues on the defensive side of the ball, but highlighting today's show is the good news that the Bengals received from an injury standpoint pertaining to several key players on this football team. But before we dive into that, I want to remind you guys to hit that sub button if you have not done so already. YouTube.com/BengalsTV. We're in a little sub battle with ourselves here, trying to break our October 2023 sub total. And just a little recap for you guys, we had the same kind of battle going on in September, and we were able to break that. September 2023 was 1,054 subscribers, and we were able to get 1,559 subscribers in September. So a big shout out to you guys for making that happen. We're going to run it back here in October. As you can tell, the October 2023 number isn't very high, so we should be able to knock this out pretty quickly on in the month of October. So help us out. Hit that sub button, youtube.com/BengalsTV. So a late addition to today's show of Bengals Breakdown is Trey Hendrickson. Bengals practice is underway in Cincinnati, and Hendrickson is out there practicing. And, boy, I tell you what, this guy is just an absolute savage, a warrior. Leaving the field on Sunday against Carolina, man, you were holding your breath. It didn't look good. He was down on the field for about 5 minutes, wasn't moving that right arm whatsoever. And he's out at practice, and he looked like he's pretty much going full speed. So that's a good sign, obviously, for Cincinnati. It looks like, as of now, I don't want to, comment on anything until Zach Taylor comments on the situation, but it looks like he's going to be available for Sunday against Baltimore, and him being the Bengals' #1 pass rusher and really their best player on defense. That obviously is significant if he is able to go on Sunday for the Bengals. Some more good news. B.J. Hill, we haven't seen him in a couple of weeks dealing with that hamstring injury. He also is back at practice today for Cincinnati, flying around, making some plays. So if they're able to get B.J. Hill back, who of course is one of their main defensive tackles, if they get him back in a starting spot, I think that could potentially help Sam Hubbard and Trey Hendrickson on the edges, because, B.J. Hill is going to certainly garner some attention going forward from offensive line. So really exciting that B.J. Hill has returned to practice. Sheldon Rankins is still a bit behind. Don't expect to see him Sunday. But B.J. Hill practicing today, all signs pointing in the direction of him playing against Baltimore on Sunday. Couple more we got to hit on. Myles Murphy, who of course was placed on short-term IR, was out for the first 4 weeks. The Bengals have opened his 21-day practice window, so he is ready to rock. What does that mean? Well, essentially, if he can be activated to the active roster anytime within these 21 days, if he hasn't been activated to the roster by the time this 21-day period is up, he is out for the season. But the Bengals opening this window shows that they're very optimistic in Myles Murphy returning, who, of course, is their former first-round pick from a couple of seasons ago. So he hasn't really panned out and been able to do the things that the Bengals expected. I think last year certainly was more of a just kind of feel it out year. He wasn't really expected to have a massive role. Bengals hoped him to have a much bigger role this year. Obviously had the knee issue, so we haven't seen him. But I think the Bengals and Lou Anarumo in particular have really high hopes for their former first-round pick, and I'm excited to see him hopefully return on Sunday. He is practicing. We haven't gotten word on whether or not he will play, but Myles Murphy is out there today. Certainly a good sign for the Bengals. Help is on the way at that defensive line position. Leads us to the pinned comment of today's video. Will Myles Murphy play on Sunday? I want to know your guys' opinion. Type Y for yes or N for no for me in the comment section. If that ad comes here on YouTube, that's totally fine. Take advantage of it. Get down in the comment section and let us know what you think. One last injury update here before we move on. McKinnley Jackson. You guys might not really remember McKinnley Jackson and the things that he has done as a football player in his career. He is a third-round pick from the Bengals in 2024, but we haven't really seen much of him. He's been banged up for the majority of this offseason, training camp, and obviously was on short-term IR, designated to return for Cincinnati, but, he's a guy played in the SEC. The Bengals had high hopes for him coming into this year that he might be able to make an impact as a rookie. He is a really massive guy. I think he is their biggest defensive tackle. When he comes back, he certainly will be that guy for Cincinnati. I would not expect to see him out there on Sunday. This is a guy that only has a few padded practices under his belt as a professional, so I think his process is going to be a little bit more slow, especially with Chris Jenkins really coming on these past couple of weeks, and hopefully Myles Murphy has an edge coming back. That gives McKinnley Jackson a little bit more time to kind of get his feet wet before he is ready to fully go in terms of a game time situation. But certainly to have him back at practice is a great sign for Cincinnati. Again, a third-round pick for Cincinnati in 2024. So at some point, Lou Anarumo is hoping that they can get some impact out of McKinnley Jackson. Another opportunity for you guys to get interactive with our show here at Bengals Breakdown. What is your confidence level in McKinnley Jackson? Do you really know anything about him? Do you know, did you watch him at all in college perhaps? Of course, we didn't see him in the preseason. So scale it for us in the comment section, 1 to 10. Sound off for us. Let us know what you think. All right, now we're going to get into kind of the rumory side of today's show. Going to be taking a look at a lot of different areas of the defense. And look, some defensive adjustments need to be made, and some were made on Sunday in the Bengals' must-win game against Carolina. Cam Taylor-Britt was benched in that game. Cam Taylor-Britt was supposed to be cornerback 1 on this football team. He's had some moments this year, namely the interception against Patrick Mahomes that was absolutely fantastic, but he's gotten beat a lot. He's gotten guys get past him a lot, and it ultimately resulted in him getting benched. Paul Dehner Jr. wrote a great piece the other day for The Athletic, and this is how he started off his piece. He said, as Lou Anarumo walked across Bank of America Stadium on Sunday, looking to shake hands with Carolina head coach Dave Canales following a 34-24 Cincinnati victory, the defensive coordinator got stopped before he could make it to him. He wasn't tracked down by a former player or assistant coaching buddy. Nope, he got stopped by the cornerback he just benched, Cam Taylor-Britt. Then here's what Anarumo had to say about it. He said, Cam beat me to it. He said, that will never happen again, and I trust and believe in him. It's not a threatening thing to see thing to any of the guys. I think they know we all I think they know we are all held accountable to how we play, how we coach, all of it. We just have to make sure we are staying on top of it. Poor play can't be tolerated by anybody. If you're not playing well, we're going to get somebody else in. And I have my own comments that I'll get to in regards to the things that Lou Anarumo had to say there about Cam Taylor-Britt and the defense as a whole here in a moment. But first, I want to give a shout out to our friends over at Game Time, because today's show is presented by Game Time. Game Time is a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. Game Time Picks is the easiest way to find and buy tickets to live events. Tickets for Week 5 at home against the Ravens are on sale now, so head on over to Game Time and get the best deals possible. My two favorite features. First, the seat views. You get a panoramic view from your seat in the app before you buy. Secondly, the all-in pricing. Toggling this feature allows you to see your total up front so you don't get hit with any surprise fees at checkout like a bunch of those other ticketing companies can get you with. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game Time. And that link will be in the comments and the description of today's video. All right, so Cam Taylor-Britt. What are the Bengals going to do with him? I really was happy by what Lou Anarumo had to say. I think Cam Taylor-Britt really handled himself as a professional. This is some adversity that you're going to have to face as a professional football player. So he could have hung his head and pouted about getting benched or what have you, but he just kind of kept it pushing immediately. Right as the game ended, he went up to Lou, talked to him, gave him his thoughts, said that he is going to be better. So he loved the maturity out of a guy like Cam Taylor-Britt. But Lou Anarumo absolutely had to mix things up because the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again when it ain't working. And clearly, stuff on the defensive side of the ball wasn't working. So he inserted DJ Turner into the lineup. And I tell you what, Turner looked really, really good out there. Again, massive props to Turner for kind of just taking the bull by the horns and being ready to go when his number was called. So now they're in a situation where it's like, well, what are you going to do at the cornerback spot? Who are you going to play? DJ Turner played well, but he was going against Carolina. So, Baltimore is certainly a totally different animal. Do you trust Cam Taylor-Britt? Do you stick him back out there? Or, do you go with Dax Hill and the two Michigan guys, Dax Hill and DJ Turner? I think Dax Hill definitely has proven that he deserves to be out on the football field, no doubt about that. But there's some questions with Cam Taylor-Britt, and it'll be very, very interesting to see how Lou Anarumo handles the rotation at cornerback on Sunday. So pick a cornerback for us right now. If I would ask this before the season, it would seem like a crazy question, but I think this is a legitimate question right now. Pick one between the two. Type CTB for Cam Taylor-Britt or DJ for DJ Turner. Sound off for us in the comments section. Really intrigued to know what you guys think about this one. Chris Jenkins, who saw his snap counts go up a little bit. Obviously they went up because he hadn't played, but the past 2 weeks he was out there for 20-ish snaps both times. I think the Bengals were really pleased with what they saw out of Chris Jenkins, and particularly the one play that comes to mind, 4th and goal, who made that stop? That was the rookie Chris Jenkins, just out there battling, has that club on his hand. It's a guy that had thumb surgery just right before the Bengals opener, and a couple weeks later, he's out playing with this football team. So he's an absolute tough dude, and I think he had a solid outing out there for Cincinnati this previous week against Carolina. But again, Carolina. So how are you going to, really, adapt when you're playing a team in the AFC North like Baltimore? But I think you absolutely have to give Chris Jenkins more playing time out there at that defensive tackle position. Again, hopefully B.J. Hill is out there as well. But I tell you what, Zach Carter and J. Tufele ain't cutting it. There ain't no two ways about that. Around that, simply aren't getting the job done out there for Cincinnati. So I think you throw the rookie into the fire a little bit here, give him some more snaps, and see exactly what he could do, because he really has done a solid job. Hasn't knocked your socks off, but he's looked solid these couple of games for the Bengals. A guy that hasn't been out there defensively at all, and it's kind of hard for me personally to wrap my head around, is Jordan Battle. This is a guy that last year when Nick Scott was really struggling at that safety position, they went to the rookie, Jordan Battle. And this year we've seen more safety struggles, and they haven't gone to Jordan Battle. And this might be a little bit of an insight as to why we haven't seen him. Lou Anarumo made a comment on Jordan Battle, and this is what he said. He said, when he came in, he just started off a little bit slow in training camp for whatever reason. And then again has kind of progressed as we've gotten along. So if he continues that upward trend, then we'll work him in there. So that's interesting to see that comment from Anarumo about, Battle not essentially being ready to go, I guess, at the beginning of training camp. But tell you what, I wouldn't mind making a switch at the safety position. It seems like Lou Anarumo is really hesitant to do so. I don't think Geno Stone has done a good job at all for you at the safety spot for Cincinnati. Now, hopefully going against his former team this weekend in the Baltimore Ravens really helps him out in that regard. But, look, I think at some point you got to try to get Jordan Battle into the lineup in some capacity. I mean, he's literally only had a handful of snaps this season. So if you continue to see struggles at that safety position, I want to see a guy like Jordan Battle go in there and get a chance. Again, I'm not sure he will. By the way Lou Anarumo has talked, it doesn't seem like that he wants him to be a guy that's out there. It seems like Anarumo still has confidence in those two safeties, Von Bell and Geno Stone. But if those guys give up explosive plays against Baltimore, I want to see a switch at the safety spot as well. And a reminder, make sure you guys follow me on Twitter at StoneShields_. All of our Bengals breakdown content will be posted to my Twitter page, so don't miss out on that. Trying to get the 500 followers here in the near future. So help me out. Give me a follow at StoneShields_ over on Twitter.